Good evening, I'm Jason Vio. This is CBC Windsor News. Thanks for joining us. Day 3 of the trial for a Michigan man accused of killing his estranged wife in Windsor. Much of the testimony today focused on the area where her body was found in West Windsor. The CBC's Dawson Chen has the story.
The Michigan man who is on trial for the death of his estranged wife was a guest at a motel not far from where his wife's remains were found. The court heard today that Brian Aaron Marbury, who is from Detroit, booked a room at Bestway Motel on Huron Church Road from May 26 to May 29, 2023. Marbury's stay was confirmed by motel records, security camera video, and the motel's manager. The body of 36-year-old Zara Boulay was found about 2 weeks later in a grassy area on Northway Avenue near Huron Church Road. It's the third day of Marbury's trial on a charge of first-degree murder. He's accused of killing Boulay, then disposing of her body. Marbury has pleaded guilty to causing indignity to a body, but he's pleaded not guilty to the murder charge. Previous testimony in the trial has described the relationship between Marbury and Boulay as abusive. Boulay's mother testified that she saw her daughter with injuries on multiple occasions. During trial proceedings, the court submitted Boulay's medical records as evidence. Those records showed Boulay suffered acute rib fractures and a twisted knee in July 2022. The records also show that during a follow-up appointment, Boulay told medical staff that those injuries were from her relationship, that she was trying to leave her husband, and that she feared for her safety. The trial by jury is scheduled to continue daily until mid-October. Dawson Chen, CBC News, Windsor.
Windsor police shot someone in Remington Park this afternoon. The incident is being investigated by the SIU. Now, this is video taken from across the street of this shooting. It's at Alexandrin and Lillian. The person who took the video tells us he heard multiple gunshots just after 3 this afternoon. Windsor police issued a statement saying they shot a suspect. They did not say why they were a suspect or the extent of their injuries. Police are asking people to avoid the area. They say there is no threat to public safety. The Catholic Board confirms that they put a nearby elementary school into a hold and secure pattern. A spokesperson confirms that students were outside at the time in a nearby park because of a planned Terry Fox run. That hold and secure has since lifted. We'll continue to update you on this story on our website as details become available. A Rwandan refugee was sentenced Thursday in the stabbing of his spouse. Ramadan Nizigiyimana will serve life in prison with no chance of parole for 14 years. That's after he pleaded guilty earlier this year to second-degree murder. He stabbed his wife at a community gathering in October of 2021. The court heard he has struggled with mental health issues and has been diagnosed with schizophrenia. He has been in custody since his arrest, much of that time at a psychiatric facility. His lawyer, Patricia Brown, says the sentence is balanced.
It's just unfortunate now that because he is now sentenced, that he will not be going back to a psychiatric or forensic psychiatric facility. He will have to be housed in general population in a federal penitentiary sentence.
Colette, another nice day. There was a spotty shower, but for the most part, pretty nice.
Yeah, we just had that shower that's kind of rolled through, and that took the temperature down 7 degrees, so a big difference from where we were at our peak. 31 with a humidex of 35. So summer certainly holding on, not wanting to let go. Chatham, Kent up to 28 and London as well from the highs today. And there's the radar showing that shower going through, a little lightning strike back towards Michigan. So some of these remnants still coming down through Amherstburg. So just they're highly isolated, and there's a little bit behind that. So we could, in the early evening hours, still have a bit more to move through. But then otherwise, overnight, 16, we'll have some cloud cover. Tomorrow we'll get into clearing, though, and just a little cooler, a little more comfortable. 24 for the high. We'll take a look at the long range when I come back.
Thanks, Colette. We'll see you in a bit.
Okay.
A new bus service plans to step up and fill the void left by Transit Windsor's tunnel bus. The cross-border bus made its last run last month. CBC Windsor's video producer Mike Evans spoke with a company ready to take over.
Hi, my name is Darbella. Today we're going to be talking about the Link tunnel bus. As soon as we heard about it on the news that the tunnel bus is shutting down, an idea popped in the head. Then the community was at outrage. All right, so we go, okay, you know what, we're already kind of in the business. Let's see if we can make this happen for the community, fill in the void. A lot of people did not believe us, but here we are, and you know, it's real.
What more do you have to do to make this a reality?
We got to get some permits with the city and our insurance. As soon as we file that, as soon as the broker files that, we should be good to go. Aiming for October 1st, all depends on if everything goes smooth.
As far as the pricing goes, how is it going to compare to the old tunnel bus?
Well, the old tunnel bus was $10 each way. From what I hear, and I think this is public knowledge, they were going to jump it up to $20 each way. So we're doing it at 15, halfway in between.
How many buses will you have in your fleet running the tunnel bus route?
We have the 2 right now. We're working on a 3rd one, and maybe a smaller bus to fill in. So hopefully 4 buses by the end of the year. Still working on the route, as again, we have to work with the city to find out where we can pick up from and where we can drop off from.
Dust and air pollution are a harsh reality in Sandwich Town, but exactly how bad is it? Our reporter Pratush Dayal has been working on this as a part of our Stories from Sandwich series. He brings us the details.
In Sandwich, dust and air pollution is a concern for many residents. All along the edge of the Detroit River, next to the historic neighborhood, there are major industrial operations, from gravel processing to building material plants to asphalt mixing plants. Then there's the Detroit Industries across the river, and local traffic, soon to be increasing with the opening of the Gordie Howe International Bridge. All of that, residents say, is impacting Sandwich's air quality.
I've lived here 4 years and never opened my windows.
Never?
Never.
This Sandwich resident staying close to the edge of the industrial area says her window panes are always coated with a thick layer of black soot-like dust.
I would like to see them do something for dust pollution especially, because it can cause a lot of people a lot of harm, right? Young kids out there playing and stuff with all that dust in the air. I don't think that's healthy to be breathing in.
They're black. They're harmful particles in terms of what they're chemically made of.
This University of Toronto air quality expert says that black dust could be from the coke piles at a petrochemical refinery in Detroit. At the other end of Sandwich Town, this resident says in his 8 years there, dust pollution has only become worse due to the gravel, concrete and sand piles at nearby sites.
But now this pile are close to mountains, and a constant dust blowing, and whenever there is, like say, thunderstorm, this and that, too much air, so you can't even stand there. It's pretty bad.
Experts say dust poses health risks, but Canada is missing a national standard for dust pollution in the air.
We need to have a tougher regulation for dust particles in the air. There's less obligation to monitor it. And that's a gap in current monitoring in Canada.
CBC News compared the air quality data from this air monitoring station in Sandwich and the one in downtown, comparing daily highs over the course of a year of measurements. It shows that air quality is marginally worse in Sandwich. Sandwich has many pollutants in the air, coming from heavy truck traffic in the Ambassador Bridge and the nearby industries. Air quality experts say sulfur dioxide is a key pollutant.
So everything that gets emitted here eventually gets blown over here.
This University of Windsor air quality expert says while there are Ontario regulations for companies along Sandwich, across the river, it's not the same.
We do know that some of the plants across the river have been under investigation from the EPA for excessive emission of SO2, for example. So we do know that there are some bad apples, and we may be negatively impacted by them.
CBC reached out to the industrial plants in Sandwich and in Detroit, and one said that they are in compliance with regulations. Others did not respond. Pratush Dayal, CBC News, Windsor.
And you can scan this QR code on your screen to learn more about a special event related to this series and register for that. It will take place on Friday, September 26th from 6 to 7:30 at Mackenzie Hall. The suspension of Jimmy Kimmel's late night show has sparked a firestorm of reaction. ABC pulled the plug indefinitely after the American host's comments related to Charlie Kirk's killing. Many Republicans, including Donald Trump, have cheered the decision, but Democrats are calling it a dangerous threat to free speech. Karina Roman has the latest.
We're still trying to wrap our heads around the senseless murder of the popular podcaster.
Senate Democrats say this is a classic move of a despot, that President Donald Trump had a chance to bring the nation together after Charlie Kirk was killed, and instead is using the tragedy to double down on targeting and silencing his critics.
Essentially saying that any media actor that doesn't say what Trump wants them to say about Charlie Kirk or Trump's policies is going to be silenced. That's censorship.
Even though freedom of speech is the very first amendment in the American Constitution, Democrats are going to introduce a free speech bill to specifically outline a court defense for people the government goes after. Because critics warn the First Amendment itself isn't just threatened, it's dead.
There was an order from the state about what people must say. Jimmy Kimmel did not say that, and his corporation was threatened with consequences by a government official. This is not cancel culture, because it's not culture. It's state repression. It's an order from the government. Here's the script you must read. If you do not read it, you will be taken off the air.
It might have been more of an implied order than a direct one, but the chilling effect is the same. That said, President Trump had a similar defense to when he reacted to the canceling of Stephen Colbert's show by CBS.
Jimmy Kimmel is not a talented person. He had very bad ratings, and they should have fired him a long time ago. So, you can call that free speech or not. He was fired for lack of talent.
The Trump administration and its allies argue the killing of Charlie Kirk was an attack on free speech because some people didn't like what Kirk had to say. But it seems getting Kimmel yanked off the air is okay because he said things they didn't like Federal Communications Commission Chairman Brendan Carr, a Trump appointee and ally.
It was appearing to directly mislead the American public about a significant fact of probably one of the most significant political events we've had in a long time.
The FCC regulates and licenses broadcast TV in the U.S. Carr said local broadcasters don't want to be forced to air a show that is not in their community's interests, as if the local affiliates are not owned by corporations, two of which also happen to be looking to merge, which requires federal approval. Meanwhile, on his way back from the UK today, Trump mused that perhaps the networks that come out against him should lose their licenses. Karina Roman, CBC News, Washington.
It's being called Windsor's version of Nuit Blanche. It's an after-dark celebration showcasing contemporary art. The Nightlight Festival kicks off tonight, and CBC Windsor was there for an early sneak peek.
My name is Jennifer Matatek. I'm Executive Director of Art Windsor Essex, and we're here today to talk about the Nightlight Festival. It's a three-night festival, September 18th, 19th, and 20th. On the Thursday, we have Awe at Nightlight, which takes place in the gallery, on the property around the gallery, and inside the Aquatic Center. And it's going to be an all-ages celebration of art and light and interactivity in digital art. Friday night, we have Nightlight Party, which is a 19+ electronic dance music party. There'll be DJs set up there with a laser light show. Plus, there'll still be art activations in the parking lot around the property and in the Aquatic Center. And then on the Saturday, Nightlight Family Day, which is free admission for the day. You can enjoy art in the Aquatic Center, on the property, in the gallery, and there'll be family fun for all ages. So outside, if you come by the parking lot, we have one piece here called Éloge de l'air, which is a piece where you can go on the swings solo or with a partner, and it will light up the night as you swing. It's a really fun interactive piece. And then on this side, there's interactive digital artworks. And if you come at night and you physically interact with them with your body, it creates a very responsive digital art visual patterns. You know, when we changed our name from Art Gallery of Windsor to Art Windsor Essex, it was in response deliberately to hearing from the community saying, you know, we want you to be more than your building. We want you to be out in the community. We want you to be out where the people are. So we really see this Nightlight Festival as an extension of that sort of idea of how do we bring the art out of the gallery, out of the building, into the community, so everyone can enjoy it.
Prime Minister Mark Carney is in Mexico for a 2-day visit. Both countries are preparing to renew their trade agreements with the United States, but Carney and Mexico's president are also looking to strengthen mutual trade ties. Evan Dyer has the latest.
Well, any lingering tensions between Canada and Mexico appear to have dissipated somewhat. Of course, there was a rocky period after President-elect Trump in November last year first said that he was going to impose tariffs on both countries, and some Canadian politicians reacted by suggesting that Mexico should be cut out of CUSMA, the deal that replaced NAFTA, and that Canada should negotiate a separate arrangement bilaterally with the United States. Since then, there's been an effort to smooth things over. We saw Prime Minister Mark Carney invite President Claudia Sheinbaum to the G7 in Alberta. We also saw a couple of visits here by the Canadian Foreign Minister, the Canadian Finance Minister, and by Alberta Premier Danielle Smith, who was one of those who had made comments that upset Mexico. So there is an appetite for talks on some serious matters that are facing both countries and for taking common positions. Both, of course, are facing a review of CUSMA next year, and that trade deal is under a great deal of pressure already from the United States. Both expect this to be a difficult negotiation, with Washington trying to extract concessions from them. So it's in their common interest to negotiate common positions and strategies. But they both also know, of course, that they can't depend on the United States. So both are looking to diversify their trade, and it makes sense to diversify with each other. Of course, NAFTA and then CUSMA were primarily, from both Canada and Mexico's point of view, about getting access to the neighboring market, the immediate neighbor for both of them, the United States, the big market in NAFTA, and to some extent perhaps neglecting the opportunity to trade with each other. This morning we heard President Claudia Sheinbaum saying that Mexico wants to change that. Mexico is quite a bit further along than Canada in upgrading its infrastructure, roads, rail, seaports, and airports. And in fact, the concern in Mexico is that it's Canadian ports that might not be able to handle the volume of trade that Mexico has in mind for this future trading relationship. And in fact, Mexican officials have even discussed the possibility of direct Mexican involvement in an expansion of the ports of Montreal and Vancouver to be able to handle the kind of traffic that they're hoping to have with Canada in the future. Evan Dyer, CBC News, Mexico City.
CBC News is learning more about the hunt for a suspected Canadian drug lord thought to be hiding in Mexico. Ryan Wedding, once a Team Canada Olympian, is listed as one of the FBI's 10 most wanted fugitives. Thomas Degla reports.
What we have learned is Mexico has assigned their own federal agents to hunt for Canadian fugitive Ryan Wedding. He was once an Olympic snowboarder on Team Canada. Wedding is now one of the FBI's 10 most wanted fugitives, with U.S. authorities offering a $10 million reward for information leading to his arrest. He's accused of running a transnational criminal enterprise, smuggling truckloads of fentanyl and cocaine across North America, and the FBI has suggested Wedding may be hiding in Mexico under the protection of the notorious Sinaloa cartel. Now, a U.S. State Department official told me earlier this year cartel figures and government officials had been conspiring to help Wedding evade capture, but now agents from Mexico's Attorney General's office, known as the FGR, they have confirmed to CBC News that they are on the hunt for that Canadian fugitive. About a year ago, Wedding's right-hand man, fellow Canadian Andrew Clark, was arrested in the Guadalajara area in an operation involving the same agency, FGR, as well as the Mexican Navy and Interpol. So it is likely now that the Navy and Interpol are both also involved in the active search for Wedding. The FBI has focused its information gathering efforts on a region in particular in central Mexico, surrounding Mexico City. The FBI suspects there may be people in that area who have information about Wedding's whereabouts. He's 6'3", may have had plastic surgery to conceal his looks, according to the FBI. But this former investigator I spoke with says Wedding will be captured sooner or later.
They will get him eventually, through investigation, and sometimes they'll have an informant that comes across Wedding, for example, in Mexico, or the local authorities. If he is in Mexico, he's going to stand out.
U.S. prosecutors want Wedding extradited to face charges related to cocaine trafficking and murder. His network has been linked to 4 killings in Ontario alone, and authorities suspect there could be more elsewhere. Thomas Dagg, CBC News, Toronto.
Colette Kennedy joins us live for a look at weather, and boy, oh boy, do we have some active weather right now, Colette. It's not just sunshine like we've been talking about for the last little while. It's pouring outside right now, almost sideways.
Yeah, and they're fairly isolated, these thunderstorm cells, but still, if you happen to be under one of them or it passes right overhead, then you know what it's like with a very heavy downpour, some lightning strikes in there as well, and it really dips that temperature. Like I was mentioning earlier in the show, came down 7 degrees in a very short period of time, and now down 8 from where we were with a high of 31. I also want to show you again tonight some of that cooler air in northern Ontario. So this is behind this front, the same front that's sparking a few showers and thunderstorms where the cooler air is. And so that's going to filter down. All it's going to do is knock some degrees off, 5, a little more than that compared to today. But really, it's still only putting us close to seasonal. What temperatures are going to be a little bit above. So current readings right now, Sarnia has come down to 21 and Goderich at 19, but still 26 for London and Chatham Kent, and still feeling that humidity as well with humidex values of 30 and above. Radar shows you very nicely that cell pushing right across. I've kind of frozen this in time right now, and you can see a little bit of activity back towards the west, and there's more to the north now as this tracks further southeast. It's going to be dying out and weakening. So I'm not saying there won't be a few more showers to come between Sarnia and Windsor later on this evening, but then we'll dry out. And in between, we will dry out and the sun will even come back out again. So plenty of dry time to enjoy the evening before the sun sets, and then we get high pressure building in tomorrow. And so although we'll have some extra cloud cover at times tonight and early tomorrow, we will get into some clearing skies as the day wears on. And so it becomes very nice on Friday, just a little cooler with that northerly flow. And also it is quite nice as we move into Saturday as well. It's not till Saturday evening into Sunday we'll begin to get a little bit of activity coming back, pushing some cloud cover and a slight chance for some showers as we move forward in time. Overnight temperatures tonight, they're still quite reasonable. It's really tomorrow night that you'll get the appreciation for the temperatures coming down. They'll be between about 10 and 13 tomorrow night. For tomorrow, 24 degrees, okay, still really comfortable. Saturday as well, just the northerly breeze has a cooler feel, and then we need some rainfall, and we get that chance as we move towards the first day of fall.
All right, thanks so much, Colette. That does it for us here at CBC Windsor. Thanks for watching.
Good night.